All right, welcome to a special edition of One Mic. It's NBA draft night, but it's been a while. The draft is going to begin here in a little bit, but Darnell and I are going to try to kind of just close out because we haven't really been together since really the end of the finals of the NBA season, and lots happened since that time. Probably want to get into it. So, obviously, the Celtics win the championship. They beat the Mavericks, 4-1, gentleman's sweep. Really kind of, with the Celtics with that long road and process, really finally pulling it all together, and just clearly the dominant team in the league from start to finish. And kind of set the tone really for kind of this offseason, but also set themselves up as as a team that could win multiple championships over the next few years. Talk a little bit about your thoughts, a little bit about how that finals came, how it kind of landed in your mind, and how it's kind of set this ripple effect that we're beginning to see here in the offseason.
Well, really, for that finals, really got to take my hat off to the Celtics. It was an organizational victory,
Mm-hmm.
from the top down. It was just excellence from the coaching staff. We've always, well, we not always, but we've heard for the last year or so about second row Joe, but he made a lot of good adjustments and had a great game plan specific for this matchup. Um, he's been working it the whole year. The style of play that they want to run. He's like a mix of his two mentors. You got to think about John Beeline and Bob Huggins that he played under at West Virginia. You saw a little bit of that John Beeline, back when they had Braves Dickus at Michigan, when they used to call him step back you. They play a little bit like that. Everybody's spread out. Everybody's taking their threes, but at the same time, they move the ball. They have that kind of college style offense where not one guy is dominating the ball, but it's kind of swinging around, and that's good for the game. And then on the other end, we saw a little bit of that West Virginia Bob Huggins kind of pressure the ball, all that kind of stuff. Um, and it was great to see. It was great to see him break through on that level. And then on the player side, Jason Tatum, he's another guy that doesn't get his just due. When it comes to the fans on the internet and all that kind of stuff, everybody loves to make fun of him. But he reminds me of a Celtic, right? Because that's really the way he plays is like this the Celtic culture, right? He's not going to dominate the ball and take 30 shots a game. He's not that type of dude. But if you think about all the Celtic superstars throughout history, that's how they've conducted business. Think about Bill Russell. He can control a game with 12 shots. You think about Larry Bird. He didn't have to take 30 shots to control the game. He pass it, rebound. He'd do a little bit of everything. Think about Kevin Garnett. It's the same thing. Kevin Garnett wasn't necessarily a shot hunter, but he was a great defender. He could rebound. He could switch on defense. He could pass the ball. Well rounded. If you go out through history, that's the culture of the Boston Celtics, and Tatum is the perfect guy to lead that franchise. Same thing with Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown, another guy doesn't get his just due a lot, and he was out to prove. He was out to prove a couple things, and I think he's made his name, and he justified because he's one of those guys. He currently, as of now, it's not for too long, but he's the highest paid player in NBA history. And after this season, you haven't really heard anybody, sneeze at that. He just because a lot of times people get paid. People are like, oh, is he really worth the money? No, Jalen Brown really he justified himself. And I can go on and on all the way down the roster, but that's going to take up a little bit of time. But I just want to take my hat off to the Boston Celtics from the top down. Everybody played their part, and that's something that you can really look forward to because it's not always going to be about the superstar. Um, like Draymond used to always say, championships are won 5 through 8, and Boston really showed that with Drew Holiday, Derek White. and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, and I think the point you made, because I think in his first year so much was made about his offensive philosophy. Um, but what I think I was impressed with is the way in which he understood that yes, they have to score in a certain way, they need to play offense, but ultimately what allowed for them to play the offense they needed to play was their commitment to defense, right? And I think there was this thought that they wouldn't have the same level of commitment to defense as they had under the previous coach in that sense. And so Ime was like definitely, pushed on the defensive philosophy, and they thought. I think people thought there might be slippage there, right? As you noted, you know, in his background playing for someone like Huggins, Huggins, yeah, you sometimes got to find the offense. He's gonna be. You got to play defense if you're gonna get on the floor with him. And so the people who influence, but the youth and how he was going to put together because of the way in which I think he came onto the scene. I think what was so impressive is I think it's something about the players and how they drive that commitment, but that also has to be part of how your game plan and what you emphasize in addition to what your players commit to it. And so that part is something that travels, right? And I think it plays well in the way that they play and how hard they play. And I think that's what speaks to Jaylen Brown in a sense. He and Tatum had an assignment after the way they went out. They had to go and think about how they played offensively one way. You saw that growth. And part of it is some of it was skill development, but I think where the growth comes, and this is where it is understanding which tools to go in your toolbox. They always had these tools, but what was great is because of what they've gone through, they've gotten to that level which they know which tool to pull out when and how long to have that tool, which is important. The number of times in a situation over the past playoffs where a bucket would have been needed and it would have felt like a forced shot, rather than them dictating an offense. It was a bailout, right? Versus them taking what they have. They were constantly executing based on what they saw in front of them. And particularly Jaylen Brown, I think, grew so much in that. The way he attacked the basket, in the way that he was relentless getting into the rim and didn't settle for bad shots, but then knew when to take the shot he needed to take, when to take it, and that just it's not that you don't have these tools, it's knowing how. And I didn't think they always had a plan for how they were going to play in the fourth quarter. Their maturity on offense is they both have a plan for how they want to approach their offense in critical times. And I think that is the greatest growth. And then they both play defense. I think Jaylen Brown uh, really took that to heart. Obviously, when you got people like White, obviously when you got some of those great players on your team, um, in terms of the commitment to defense, they got a number of defensive players on the team. I think Brown became really took on, what you like to see in that superstar, that commitment, the way in which he made Luka work, and his commitment to do that. But then his offense didn't go down either. And I think Tatum did some really interesting things defensively. I know you mentioned this. We talked about it in a way. He anchored the back end of that defense and the size and the rope. Like that to me felt like what you said is like kind of been the Celtic history. Like how do we execute the game plan? One of the things that Kenny Smith talks about. Great teams don't panic and forget about the game plan. And I think they did a really good job of doing that. And then Holiday, who I think is the unsung hero and the glue kind of guy in a lot of interesting ways, was just magnificent. And I think he's one of those guys that you're going to really appreciate what he meant to the league and his career trajectory when he retires. Like I think we're gonna try and give him his flowers, but we're not gonna really understand what he's meant to basketball until he's gone. It's just because he just doesn't have that aura about him. how he plays with a swag, but there's something we're not going to really, and for them to multiple runs that they might be going on, he's going to be so key to that as well. And then, I just, Horford, I'm so happy as someone who just chipped away his whole career. I mean, the way in which he looked great. On the other side, I think there's a really good opportunity for growth. I thought Dallas had a magnificent season. Um, they did. I think in some ways they exceeded all expectations. Um, I think Kyrie's um, growth this year was incredible, in the way in which his leadership group, like I think, manifested and kind of came in was great. On top of it, the way in which he really challenged himself to be defensively. I think Luca can look. Luca needs to look to what Kyrie did. I think Luca, Dallas, how far they go will be two things. Luca stopped approaching playing basketball like he played in the '80s, where you try to use the first 25 games to get in shape, versus the current model where he's really got to work to transform his body. This summer, you play in the Olympics or whatever. Hopefully, that plays a role in that. And then his approach to how he plays, in terms of his attitude when things are not going right, is something he's gonna have to work through. That's very difficult because he's been able to do that for so long. But if he's committed to like getting to where Tatum them got, those cats really had to look deep in themselves. The reason why the Celtics are where they are, because both those guys made really tough decisions about how they want to go. They were willing to make those sacrifices and grow. Luka's got to decide that if he wants to do it, because the gap is closing the West. Like, and Denver will be back, so he's got to make a decision about how he wants to approach the game, and in what ways can he not get caught up in some of those things that I think take away from their ability to be successful. Because I don't think they'll ever, because of the way they play, they won't have that much margin for error. So he's got to stay locked in. So yeah, I think there's a lot we learned about. Now we're into the off season, where I think there's been a lot of interesting things going on. When you think about, we've had a couple of different things. We get off season. We got a lot of talk around. Obviously, we get a new coach in Lakerland. Um, we got some big trades. We were debating this whole trade about, it came up about going to get Bridges and going to the Knicks, and Hammer was saying a lot of stuff like that whatever happened, and now we got the Knicks and the Nets doing a trade. Like people would never, they thought hell would freeze over, but hell has frozen over. We got so much stuff. We got OG just signed. Um, we got Paul George sitting out there, and then we got the draft tonight, where we got some people making some pieces here. Let's start with um, the Lakers. The Lakers get new coach, right? A little controversy right now coming on how he's there, but he's there. I think he's going to be there when it's all said and done. JJ Redick. Um, what do you think happens with that? What do you think that places the Lakers? What do you think is happening with that selection around JJ Redick?
Well, with the Lakers, I think they're going to ride it out with LeBron. Um,
Yeah.
and they can say as much as they want about he's not involved in decisions and stuff, but it's very clear that this move doesn't make LeBron's not on the team. LeBron, he's doing the podcast with him. That's his boy. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it is what it is. And I think JJ Redick can do a good job. I'll be rooting for him to do a good job. Um, he knows the game. He's been around the game for a long time. Played in the NBA 15 years. Everybody says that. Oh, he's just a podcaster. He doesn't have any experience, but he played in the NBA 15 years. I mean, you can't just deny that. Um, and we've seen it in the past. Like Doc Rivers, I don't think Doc Rivers was ever an assistant coach. He came
Mm-hmm.
on. He came right off. What was he on NBC when he
Yep.
became Orlando Magic coach?
Yep.
Um, Steve Kerr had a little more experience as a he was
Front
a
office.
front office. I don't think he was. I don't know if he was the GM. He was in the front office working on the day to day side of things. Um, but he wasn't necessarily on the sidelines, and he came in. He did very well. So I think as long as the Lakers are patient, that's one thing they haven't really been in the past. But as long as they are patient, I think this is something that can work.
Yeah, I think and the more I looked at it, so much of this is going to depend on how he gets his staff out and breaks that staff out. The one thing I heard Palinka say, because I think in this new CBA, this is the approach you got to do. You should have been doing this approach anyway, but because you can see the teams that are winning with this approach, is you got to develop players and get them to play beyond. It's going to be about the whole, not just you got to have a star or two who could take you over the top in key moments, but you got to have a team philosophy. You have to look more like the 2004 Pistons than not. Like that's the model you got to go back where you got some cats who can star in their role, who can star, and you can have a star or two. But it's got to be much more depth and collectiveness because the CBA is not going to allow you to build like that unless you're willing to go into those aprons and pay that money. And I don't think people are going to do that. So it forces you to really think about how you develop and get teams. You're going to be like the Heat in a sense, like that, right? It's about your culture, who fits your culture. That's why I think the Knicks are primed to be good because I think they're building around a culture, and you got to have a star who helps drive the culture and is part of that culture. You got to do that. So I think the Lakers. What I've always struggled with the Lakers in recent years, you could create a playoff team damn near by the players they let go because of the way they've been operating. And so it tells you you've been drafting, you just ain't been patient, right? That's what it tells you. Because if you look at the folks they drafted, and I mean, we don't even talk about Julius Randle who got hurt as a rookie, right? You come back, and then before you know, Julius Randle's gone, and he was looking good before. You thought he was going to be something there. Like we didn't, like everybody
Yeah,
talk about ex Lakers. We don't even know. We don't even talk about the fact that Julius Randle. So it tells you you're drafting. Now what can you do to develop? And then I went back and looked at their roster. I'm like, man, they actually got some decent pieces. We didn't see any of them in the playoffs because half of them was hurt. And so
yeah,
you and I think style matters. So one of the interesting things he said is around Anthony Davis being the hub, which I thought was a really good framework around how you use AD in a way. Now, it's a question about how LeBron plays into that. But if you do it right, you could do it. And then I think the other thing he's going to have to do, which I think he might think about how he can do, is what I've been saying. Well, I think in this new CBA, you got to be really good at is how do you create depth and are creative with your second unit by leveraging one of your top two players to create that gives something else that amplifies the next two or three that gets you into that 8, 9 because of the fact of how they play in that space. Think Ginobili with a second unit. Think those kinds of things. And I think JJ can think creatively around that. And that's why I think players like Rui, who I think people don't understand are really young in the game, I mean, even when he went to Gonzaga, he hadn't been playing very long. Like this guy is really young when it comes to playing basketball in that kind of way. I think he's a key component. I think Cam Reddish, when you think about how he was playing when he left Atlanta, and then he went to New York, and he went to a situation with a coach who really didn't want to play him. I think Cam Reddish has a bigger seat. I think he might play better under JJ in terms of style they want to play, but Cam can also play defense. So you're talking about the two ways. So I think there's some ways in which he can do it. I think he might see it that way. So I do think, does that get them too far up? No, but it could make them competitive every night. It could give them 6 or 7 more wins that might not have them in the play-in, but might have them in a different way. And then you got to hope that you got the same kind of health you got this year with both AD and LeBron. They were healthy this year, and you didn't cash in on it. So I think those are the things I think are really good about that. I want to get into a little bit of the trade that's happened with like New York and getting Mikal Bridges, which I think is a great pickup And I think it benefited Brooklyn as well. And Brooklyn then did a trade with Houston. Houston's now has Phoenix's picks. They're trying to work that for Durant or doing something with Phoenix, maybe possibly to get something going there. But I think when I look at the Knicks, you know, um, I love this move. Now it's going to depend on how some of their big guys come back. They got OG coming back, so they're good there on the wings. That piece is coming together. I don't know if they'll be able to get Hammerstein back because of the way, but they got some folks coming in. But how do you like what the Knicks are doing with some of these moves?
Well, I like it. From what I understand, um, the way people are looking at it, it's going to be very difficult for them to bring Isaiah Hartenstein back,
Yeah,
and they don't think that they would probably be able to. But as far as OG Anunoby goes, he is set to be a free agent. He's not necessarily secured yet, but
I
the
thought they
Knicks
just
are.
agreed on the deal.
They did right now.
Yep, they just agreed on a
They
deal.
just
It's like
did
a
because
200 something million.
yeah, because I know they said he is a priority for them.
Yep,
I got to look at that to see if.
yep. It just happened while we were on. I think as we were starting to come on.
Oh, okay, that's good. I'm scrolling. I don't see anything on it. But yeah, definitely if OG Ananobi is back on the team, then yep, I see it right now. The
Yeah,
5 years, $212 million.
yeah.
So yeah, so you talked earlier about the 2004 Pistons model. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
You got your Chauncey. You just got your Rip Hamilton yesterday. You got
Yeah.
um with Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
You got a big defensive wing and OG Ananobi. Maybe he probably shoot a little better than Tayshawn, but
Yeah.
he um he kind of fit that role. Um, I don't know if they got a Sheed. I don't know if they really got a Rashid, but if they're building on that defensive mentality,
Mm.
they're going to be a tough, hard nosed team. They're really deep. If you really think about it, you got Brunson. The way I think the starting lineup is going to be, you got Brunson, you have Mikal Bridges, you got OG at the three, you got Julius Randle at the four, you have Mitchell Robinson at the five. You probably can't. Isaiah Hartenstein is probably going to get paid somewhere, so you probably won't be able to bring him back. But still, off the bench, you still bringing Deuce McBride off the bench. You still bringing Dante DiVincenzo, as Big Ticket calls him, Three Da Vinci. You bringing Three Da Vinci off the bench. You bring in Josh Hart off the bench. That's a hell of an 8-man rotation right there. But in the draft, they didn't give. I mean, in the trade, they didn't give up their picks this year, so they still have 24 and 25. You could possibly see your boy over at Marquette go there,
Yeah.
Osa Iguodaro. You could see him plug in and be that backup center. Oh, backup 4 or 5. You still got Precious Achua in the mix.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, you have a lot of ways you can pivot. Even in the draft, like I mentioned, Osa Iguodaro, we saw the other guy we saw in at the Mount Invitational, Adem Bona.
Yeah.
He's in this draft. You could see him there.
Yeah.
You could see Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner could be there.
Clockburger
In
were
the
really
late
good for
20s.
them. He could play right now. He can play in space. Plus, he can shoot a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, I mean, he would add just a different kind of.
Hmm.
He knows how to play that pick and roll. I could see
Yeah.
him with Brunson and those guys.
And he could
Be
do a
the,
lot of things that
yep,
Hartenstein could do. Because
yep,
the difference between Hartenstein and the rest of the bigs, Mitchell Robinson, Presachua, he could get the ball high post, elbow area, and he can make passes. And you can
yep,
see that also with Kalkbrenner.
yep,
But
yep,
then I really like that fit with Bona though.
yep,
You remember the way he was jumping out the gym to block some shots,
yep,
and seeing that on the back line of a Tibbs defense.
yep,
You already know Deuce McBride and all them, they're gonna be pressuring the hell out the ball and
yep,
just send them down there, and he's gonna be knocking them into the 13th row. But
yep, yep,
but yeah, it'll be interesting how it plays out. Um, there's a real value in chemistry in basketball.
mhm,
That's one thing that we don't really.
Yep.
talk about all the way a whole lot, but the value of having those guys who've played with each other. They've been under the fire together and they love each other.
Yep.
This is a group that's actually going to be real connected, and that goes a long way come playoff time.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like some of the NFL teams, you know, grabbing multiple players from Georgia or grabbing multiple players from Alabama, right? In that core part of it, there's something there's something that comes to the locker room, right? And I think Villanova is kind of becoming that team. There's a couple programs where you know what you're going to get. I think on the beeline, when people are drafting Michigan players, they knew what they're going to get. There's some guys they brought in there, but like these Nova guys come with something, right? And now you gotta and they tend to bring glue guys. They bring everybody in, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that all folds out. Now,
Well, that's the
go ahead.
I was just gonna add that's the Villanova culture. They
Yeah,
build glue guys because of the developmental program. They develop talent. They develop your whole game. They
yeah,
teach you how to play off 2 feet. They
yeah,
teach you how to move without the ball. They teach you how to rebound. They teach you how to see the floor.
yeah.
So all that kind of stuff is what goes into that the Nova character.
Yeah, and I think what that does, and this is where this whole idea about you need max players, like you need somebody who has that max ability, right? But what you need is are players who understand the moment. Hart's not a max player, but Hart is a max playoff player. Like understands the moment, right? Never scared. Run like a Mad Max from the old Houston days.
As
Some of the guys
Draymond would
they
say,
run.
a
They,
16
they,
a
they
16 game player.
yeah, they run to the smoke. Don't run away from it, right?
Mhm.
And can do it on both ends. Like they live for those moments, right? And you need those players who know how to deliver when it requires, as well. And I think that's part of, you know, that's where your front office really makes a difference. Let's talk a little bit about this draft. Everybody's like, we don't have the one like we had last year, and we'll probably have next year. That whatever that franchise changing player. But I think this draft has some players who might end up being those kind of stars. This is really a GM draft. And so, what's been your thought about this draft, and who are you excited to see where it's going to go, or what team? Everybody's saying number 3 is where the draft is going to start, is going to kick off and begin. Like, what are you excited about, and who are you really interested in seeing where they go as we start to kick it off?
Man, there's so many guys.
Yeah,
Um, Starting with Stephon Castle for me.
yeah, yeah,
Um, you're talking about glue guys. You're talking about guys that can contribute to winning. It's a guy that brings a lot of the same stuff that Andre Iguodala used to bring.
yeah,
With his defense, his intensity, championship medal, playmaking. The shot isn't all he's not the shot isn't all the way there right now. He did shoot better last year in high school. Obviously, high school and college is a different level. So he's gonna have to prove that he can shoot at the NBA level. And it might take a couple years to develop that, but when it does, I think you're looking at a guy that could possibly be a fringe all star player.
yeah,
He reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Butler. To
yeah,
be honest with you, he brings a lot of that same toughness on the defensive end, also on offensive end. He has a great mid range game. He, the short mid range kind of close shot game with the floaters, the spin gathers, the finishes like that. That part of his game is very similar to Jimmy Butler. Um, I'm just looking for him to extend that range up. And when he extends that range out, I think he's going to be a fringe All Star player, somebody with the type of ceiling. I really like Tijon Salon. Tijon Salon from France. Um, he is really athletic. He's young, and that's his downside is that he's young. He makes a lot of young plays. He makes some mistakes. He might miss a rotation here or there, all that kind of stuff. He can't really dribble at this time, but he's 6'9", really long, can jump out the gym. He plays super hard. He kind of reminds you. He kind of puts you in that mode of a Sean Marion, Nicholas Batum type of guy. Um, and that's like you said. Maybe he might not be a winning player now, but 4 or 5 years from now, when he matures into himself, that's a winning player, right? That's a player that can contribute to winning. We got Devin Carter from Providence. Um, Devin Carter, his dad played in the league. I forgot his dad's name. Anthony Carter. Yeah, his dad Anthony Carter. 6'2" guard, reminds me a lot of Avery Bradley. Um, Great screen navigation, great motor, one of the best athletes in the draft. I think he had like a 42 inch vertical, something like that. Jumps out the gym, and he's not one of those. He's not one of those players that only uses athletic. That only uses athleticism for offense. You see it. You see it in a basketball context. You see him jump in the deflect passes and stuff like that. He rebounds above his height because he has that vertical. He does all the little things, all the intangibles that it takes to be a winning player, like we talked about. And there's players like that littered through this draft. We already talked about Osa Ighodaro from Marquette. He brings a lot of that stuff too. A field guy that knows how to play. He's a little older, but an exceptional athlete. Maybe a little undersized. Maybe a little undersized. Might be like 6'9". How tall I think he is? 6'9", 6'10", right around there.
Yep, yep.
But he's still an exceptional athlete. Maybe a little light to play center, but nowadays, you might have to you might have to go against.
With the first pick, we got the French doing it again. It coming out and making it happen in that first pick. Zachary got picked here. Was it Risa Shea? I was trying to get it. I had it. I
Zachary
had
Reese
it
is name.
going.
That's his
Risa
name.
Shea. I had it going all day, and I messed it up today. But man, it seems like in France the ball game is coming together. They ball in France, and what they've been saying, there's more to come. And so goes to Atlanta, gives them, someone who can defend, can handle that rock, make things happen. That looks good. His French country mate, uh, right? Went to Washington, Sar, and then you had Reese Shepard going to the Rockets, and
Hmm.
then Castle, who you talked about, going, and then Holland, who you remember you talked to me about this,
Yeah,
going to the Pistons as a really unique pick. So they're coming out the gate on some of this stuff. And I mean, this is one that you thought, right? You told me like this would be a
this one
good pick,
came out of left
right?
field. That one just came out of left field. I just saw that. I'm like, I wasn't even thinking about Ron Holland. I wasn't thinking about
Oh,
Ron Holland at all. And
oh, okay.
I was like, why? But it going on the recent trend of the Pistons picks.
Yeah.
Um, he's a hard nosed guy. His elite skill is his effort, his
Yeah.
motor, his toughness, his heart. He can't shoot. He can't shoot yet. He gambles a whole lot on defense. But he's known as a defender.
Mhm.
Um, I would say there probably are some better perimeter defenders in this draft, but you getting a guy that um, you know at the very least you're going to get effort. He's gonna give it his 110%. Um, I think if I'm not mistaken, he he's one of the winningest players in Texas basketball history.
Yeah, he went to
Um,
Duncanville.
he went
Yep.
to Duncanville. Shout out to Duncanville. Their quarterback Keelan. Is it Keelan Robinson? I forgot what his last name was. Keelan Russell. Sorry, Keelan Russell just won the Elite 11 last week. Last weekend, he's a baller, great quarterback. But yeah, on another note, Ron Holland, um, he's probably gonna come off the bench starting off. But hey, we're building that old school Pistons mentality. I know Magic Johnson said a couple weeks ago that we got soft and we got to get back to what made Detroit Detroit. and Detroit, the Pistons organization was built on guys like just like Ron Holland. So I don't I wasn't thinking this way. But it's gonna take a second for this to sink in. But
This is the new
I'll know
regime,
I'll know
right?
when I see him play. Yeah,
This is the new regime, right?
yeah. And Trajan Langdon, if you
Strange
look at the
Lane.
way he was building the Pelicans, he built the Pelicans off of Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, um, defensive minded guys like Dyson Daniels. This is something that he that he really prioritizes.
Yeah, and you know, you know, I was uh, thinking they might go in a different direction on this, but um, I was in it. The kind of people that bring in the front office have a track record of finding picks. Like they have and I'm always uh, I thought they would get Matas, right? I think I guess first thing. I like him, man. I like the funk in his game. I thought he would be the one that would go here. I thought he would. He brings a dynamic style of play, and I think he still has a place to go. And I just felt like, you get him in with this piece. I felt like that would be good. But what I can appreciate from at least the record of the front office people they brought in, they've demonstrated a history of finding the right player. So
Yep.
I'm going to trust it.
Yeah,
Um,
I was thinking Modest as well.
yep,
Modest. I was warming up to his game.
yep,
He
yep,
what I learned about him. He's a really good weak side shot blocker.
yep,
Back in on defense, he cares a lot. He's
yep,
another guy that he brings that intensity. He brings that
yep,
competitiveness. He
yep,
called early in the draft cycle. He called out Zachary Reese. He said
yep,
he wants to work out with him. He wants to play him one on one
yep,
at these workouts. He wants to go one on one against Reese.
yep,
Of course, Reese didn't respond, and then when he didn't respond, he got on Shams Charania's show. Shams is
yep,
he's a big basketball reporter,
yep.
and Modest was saying that no disrespect, but he don't want to see me.
And
I felt
that's
like that was
Detroit
it.
energy.
I
You know
felt
what I'm
like
saying?
yeah,
That's it. That's the energy, and I'm hoping this ain't what we dealt with when we didn't when we you know when we didn't you know uh uh you know you know do what we needed to do back in the 2000s, right?
yeah.
And missed out under the Larry Brown. So you know that's the part that I'm hoping we.
But you know who I was really looking at though,
Yeah,
because Klingon was still there. I
yeah,
was thinking about maybe picking up Klingon,
yeah,
and even because Trajan Langdon in his introductory press conference, I don't know if you heard it,
yeah,
he was talking about one of the strategies being is to build assets, and
yeah,
even if we didn't stick and pick Klingon, I was thinking that especially if Klingon was there at 5, just like he was,
yeah,
then possibly trading down because Memphis
yeah,
really loved Klingon,
yeah,
and they want and Portland wants Klingon as well. And Portland is above where Memphis is at right now. I think Portland's at 7, Memphis is at 9.
mm-hmm,
Um, Possibly helping Memphis leapfrog Portland
mm-hmm,
so they could get the big that they want,
yeah,
and also getting assets back. Getting picks back, getting maybe a rotational piece or two, like a vet or two
yeah,
that can help the progression of your team. I was thinking that could be something that we would do in 9. 9 is this is a draft where the difference between 9 and 5 isn't really that
yeah,
much,
yeah,
as unless you're looking at a specific guy like Memphis is. Memphis is a specific guy, even in their case, even if Klingon is gone, is there really that much of a drop off between Klingon and Zach Edey?
yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I don't think. I think people aren't realizing, what Zach can do in the space. I don't think there's much of a drop off in between those two. And I look at this, man. The Spurs are really good. They get Castle, and then they're up in 2 picks with a lot of talent on the board. this could be interesting. Like if the Spurs turn the corner in the next 2 years, these two picks gonna have a lot to do with it. And I mean, Castle's already gonna come in and be that guy, um, and establish with the other pieces they have. But they're in a really interesting place. Um, you know, sitting where they're sitting. So in Portland, as you said, if Klingham is there, they're going to get him. If he's not there, it's going to be interesting where they go. Because now they just had a now, didn't they just have a trade, Portland?
Yeah, they just traded.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Tijon Swan just
Wow.
got picked by Charlotte. I talked
Yes.
about him a second ago.
Yeah, you did.
He's in that Batum, Sean Marion role.
Yeah,
If you think about Charlotte, they got Brandon Miller, they have Lonzo Ball. They need glue guys, right?
yeah,
And he's gonna give you a whole lot of effort. He has a great motor on him.
yeah.
He can shoot a little bit. Um, he
We
I
got
think
three
he
French
fits.
guys in the top six picks, man.
Yeah, France is building
Wow.
something.
France
France
got
is
Rucker
building.
Park going on. I was over there. I need to go check out their Rucker Park. Their Rucker Park.
I don't think they got. I don't think they got Rucker Park,
they,
and
they
I
got
think that's the
something.
difference. And I think that's the
Yep,
difference
that's the
because
difference. Yep,
um their players are developed differently.
yep,
They practice a whole lot more than we practice over here.
yep,
Our culture is built on games. We
yep.
we go to AAU tournaments and we play 5 or 6 games. And there's a there's a value in that, and there's also a value in the other way. And
And that's
practice.
driven by money. That's the economy of youth sports driving that versus the development.
Yeah, and you can see it in the way that they play. Like
Yep,
they're more fundamentally sound.
yep,
In the different elements of team basketball,
yep.
and even in guys like obviously we know Wimbenyama, but his teammate last year, I'm losing his name right now. He played for Washington.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I can't get the name. I gotta.
Oh my goodness. This is great television. This is a great podcast right now. But yeah, you got Reese Say, another one of those
Yep.
field guys. We got, oh my goodness, I'm losing it, man.
Well, we'll come back to it because
Yeah,
we have
we'll
to get to
come
know.
back. We'll come back.
We got to get to know. And part of the right the international game is going. I mean, people have to understand. Like people like Hubie Brown, a whole bunch of folks. They were doing clinics 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
before the Dream Team, and it built up an
Bilal
army of
Koulibaly, that's his
coaches.
name.
Yeah, what is it?
Bilal Koulibaly, that's
Yep,
his name.
yep. Yeah, and built up a army of coaches on ways in which we used to coach,
Yep.
right? And the ways, and so people took all those strategies because people were doing all those, France, and all these guys went over and they built all this capacity that people are still executing today, and it's paying off. And the thing about it, like Paris, and France is like one of the most diverse cultures in the world. So you got folks coming in there from all over, from
Hmm.
Africa to whatever. And so the nature of the athletes and folks coming in the game, folks play. So like that's becoming much more of a breeding ground for all these great athletes, players who are fundamentally sound. It's going to be interesting to see how that French national team even develops, right?
Yeah.
And how that plays off as we move forward. But yeah, man, this game is moving on.
Yep.
So Portland gonna get their man.
It looks like they're gonna get clinging.
Yep, yep, yep.
And
Good for Chauncey.
do you think clinging and Edie can go back to back?
Man, these folks are so now. If there's any
Oh, not
team who
back to
understand,
back. I'm sorry. You got San Antonio in between them.
now this is what I was going to ask you because
Hmm.
of the way that Wimbenyana plays
Yep.
outside in and can handle the ball. It'd be interesting with Edie because
That would
that
be
two-man
something.
game would be something
You
else.
get 7-4 and 7-5.
Don't put that past
Talk about the
Popovich.
Twin Towers. He
I
had
mean, you
Popovich used
put
to
you
have the
put
Twin
you
Towers.
put that in. Now you got Castle, and you feeding everybody to Edie and those two. Oh, it's Operation Shutdown. But one of them can space the floor. He don't necessarily have to play down low.
Hmm.
Now you get to develop him the way you want to develop him. He don't have to start getting down there banging all the time, man. And you're not really clogging up the floor. It ain't like it was, with Samson and those guys, right? And the King,
Yep.
where you might have they spaced a little bit because Samson can shoot a little
I
bit,
would say
but
Sans can step out a little bit.
he can step out. So I wouldn't necessarily put it past Pop because he's all about shifting the floor, shifting the geometry, right? I would put it past him. There go Donovan. He going to check out with Chauncey Billups. Um,
Yep. Yep. He got
man,
picked.
I
Ooh,
feel good for Chauncey to get
Donovan
something.
Clingan.
Yeah, because you got to get some
Yep.
culture setters. Look,
Oh man.
you got to get some culture setters.
Yep.
You
I
know,
wonder. I wonder why. Well, they couldn't. They probably couldn't find a dance partner. Why Memphis couldn't get in there.
yeah,
Because I really wanted to see that pairing right there with Klingon and Jaren Jackson.
yeah,
That would have been something else. But I think if as long as San Antonio doesn't pick Edie, that could still be a really good pick for Memphis because especially thinking about John Morant coming off screens from Zach Edey. You already saw the pick and roll game at Purdue with Braden
but you
Smith.
think you're gonna? I mean, the way the game, like you think Edie can go that high? Like you and I think that we watched him. I believe he can shoot. He can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You think? I mean, we got too many. We got too
I
many
don't
analytics
know.
guys running.
I don't know, but I feel like I have a good understanding of the game
Yep.
and understanding the way that John Morant can get 2 feet in the paint whenever he wants to,
Oh yeah.
and the way he was playing with Steven Adams and now pairing him with another guy that sets screens just as well as anybody
Yep.
that you can find. And Zach Edey says Zach Edey's an excellent screen setter.
Yep.
Um, John Morant's going to be able to come downhill whenever he wants to. You're going to have spacing all around the court,
Yep.
and you're just going to have Edey. And then Edey, he doesn't. We shown he doesn't always have to roll. Like he
Yep.
can pop and hit that 15 footer, that
Yep.
12 footer,
Yep.
and he's shown that he can do that. And that's going to bring a little more variety in that game.
Yep. Yeah, you got to have people who have the confidence to think like that because you got such a dynamic player like Morant to add it, and plus it just spaces everybody else. You got these other shooters they got on that squad that
Yep.
can get them, and he can move and he's got condition. So um, there's a lot of different ways you can play it. Um, it's going to be interesting to see what
Yeah.
uh, San Antonio does. In terms of thinking about their pick and where they go. And then you got the Jazz coming up. You got the Bulls. You
Hmm.
know, and then you got the Thunder. Like Thunder sitting at 12, sitting pretty good. Like look at all
Yeah.
they already got already. Um,
The Rich are
what
about
do
to
you
get
think?
a
What do
little
you
bit
think the
richer.
needs? What do you think the needs are for the Thunder?
The Thunder obviously they need a big. They need
Yep.
somebody that can grab some rebounds. Um, yeah, that's their biggest thing. On this, another thing that they can be looking for is another ball handler coming
Mhm.
off the bench. Um,
Yep.
Probably a bigger guy that can handle the ball a little bit off the bench. Um, that's something that you can look for. But
Yep.
I think the priority number one is finding somebody that can rebound.
Yep.
And I don't know because everybody's young. Everybody I don't think they have too many big contracts
Yep.
on the books for him now. So I
Yep.
think they're going to be a player in free agency. They
I
might
think
fill
I
that
think the
role.
Spurs. I'm telling you, I think the Spurs might take Connect,
Dalton Connect. That could be a good move. That could be a good
which would
move.
be great. That
Yeah.
that give it a guy who's improved on his defensive side,
Yep.
who can shoot, space the floor, who knows how to play, and is uh, ready made to play.
And
I
they
mean,
really don't have a lot of go-to,
yeah,
go-to scorers
yeah,
or guys that can come off screens and stuff
yeah,
like that
yeah,
on this team at this
yeah,
point. You
yeah,
have Devin Vassell, who's
yeah,
decent.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
that fills a major role for them.
Do you think Dilling is too high for someone like Dillingham to go right here?
No,
Because
absolutely
he's
not.
another
Because
dynamic playmaker,
he
scorer.
is. He's probably the best scorer in this draft.
Yeah,
Um, he's a little undersized,
yeah,
and that could kind of pigeonhole him as far as what role he's going to play in the NBA.
yeah.
But
But that's a perfect place for him when you got somebody like Wimby who can protect everything,
yeah,
who just
and you
protect
have
everything,
Castle. You already
and
picked
Castle.
Castle. Castle
Yep,
can protect him as well.
yep,
Because like if you think about the Golden State Warriors,
yep,
when Damian Lillard and Kyrie and all them you came to town,
yep,
it was Klay Thompson that took that matchup.
yep,
And Steph Curry, Steph Curry would give effort,
yep,
but he would be on a lesser assignment. And I
yep,
think you would see something very similar in this case if
yep,
you brought Rob Dillingham there because
yep,
Stephon Castle he could guard the number one guard,
yep,
the main player on the other team, and um, you know Dillingham could guard some a lesser player.
yep.
I think that works very well. And when he does have to guard on the ball, he can funnel him down to Wimby.
Yeah, and was it McCain or what's for
Jared
Purdue?
McCain. Yep.
I think I mean, he's a dynamic player. I can see fitting into uh, you know, they're showing Dillingham. I think
Yeah,
that
he
would
also
be,
he can Jared McCain he can fit in. It's
yeah,
just he doesn't have the creation ability
yeah,
that the others do.
yeah,
And I think he fits
yeah,
in a more of an off guard role. More like I think um Miami would be a great spot for him. He
yeah.
sounds like a Pat Riley Heat guy to me.
He got,
He
yeah,
reminds he reminds me of the Max Cruz, or as I said before, Gabe Vincent in that mold.
but it's
And
essentially
then
like Butler with the
yeah,
nails.
and yep, and then also at 17, you got to look at the Lakers. I
Yeah,
think he could be a good pick for the Lakers because he can really shoot it. He can really space the floor for Braun and AD. Um, Gabe Vincent wasn't really healthy last year. Giving him another insurance option
hmm
in that role. So I think looking a little later in the draft, I think his impact could be felt a little bit more.
hmm yeah. This is turning out. I mean, I didn't think Cleveland was going to go this low. So this is interesting to
Yeah.
see how some of these things are turning out right now because here, to think about kind of
Yep.
where folks might be going around with these picks. Um,
Yeah. I was thinking him at 5. Rob
yeah.
Dillingham just got picked for the Spurs.
See, I told you, I
Yep.
felt like that would be
It sounds right.
sound like the right pick,
Yep.
because they need. I mean, think about a screen and roll action, pick and roll action between him and Wimby, um, and you got. I mean, and it's like and now you got
Yep.
Castle, right? I mean, man,
Man.
you know, they just need to get a couple old time vets in the building, keep
Yep.
things right, but add some seasoning on top of it, but you know, this is where they set the culture. You know, they set the culture.
Yeah.
You
They,
know,
it seems like the Spurs always get lucky. Um,
yep.
and they
This
turn
this
this
is
they
this
turn his
this this,
rebound.
this is this is his Ginobili.
Yeah,
This is his Ginobili.
man.
He needs somebody who can go get stuff right now. Who can go get some stuff right now? He, he's like, I need some stuff right now. I'm never scared. Tell me where to go, Pop. I got you. You
Hmm.
know. Oh man, this is gonna be. Oh, and Memphis is sitting like kid in the
Memphis,
candy store, and they
man.
already loaded.
The NBA is on fire.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
the West is about to be a problem right now because if San
Oh yeah.
Antonio starts to get there, that's going. I mean, it's already tough. I mean, it makes you think about what Phoenix has got to do. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm thinking, Phoenix, you're in trouble. You're in purgatory. You got to have these three guys
Hmm.
play like they supposed to play, and you got to hope you got others who can fit in because you got some other younger teams. These teams that look like it could have been wins, that's gonna chip away,
Right.
right? San Antonio jumped to 35 wins. That's a problem.
Hmm. And Houston is going up. They're
And
going
Houston
up
gonna go
and
up
up
because
and up.
you know how the coach is.
Oh yeah, Ime.
You either gonna fight them or you gonna fight me. That's the kind of coach they got.
Man.
Email like you either gonna fight them or you gonna fight me, so they gonna fight them. And you saw how they ended the season.
Yeah,
Man, look at this.
and then you hear about Golden State.
Yep.
Golden State, they taking a hard look at Paul George. They trying to build a framework around the sign and trade. They're gonna give him the money he want. Um, well, how do you think that would look?
Man, that's like doing a deal in your own backyard. Ooh, literally your own backyard.
Yeah,
And you trying to open up an arena the next year? Man, I mean, it's. I don't know if it puts them over the top. It makes them competitive,
yeah.
right?
It makes him respectable again.
Respectable, and so you got to ask your question: does that hurt the development of some of young players? That's always my worry. In this new, like you and I just said, in this new NBA, player development is there, and one of the problems I think, the reason why Golden State finds himself here is I don't think they've done a good job of player development, right? Overall, for the most part, and uh, does he stifle the development of some of them young players?
I don't think so because I think Kaminga's gone. I think if this trade happens, I think Kaminga's gone,
You think Kaminga's
and
going to be part of the trade?
I think he'll be part of the trade. And I think you're picking a side. They've been trying to do this two timeline thing for too long. I think you're choosing a side. You want to maximize the end of Steph Curry's career because he's the best player in your franchise's history, and you're not giving
And
away
you're not
everybody
winning.
because you're not, but you're maximizing the end of his career. Um, you're going to win as much as possible, and also you're still going to have trade Jackson Davis. I don't think this trade affects him in a
But
negative
you had a
way.
young
You're
player who was
still going to
averaging
have
close to 25 a
you're still
game.
going to have
What we talking about?
Brandon Podziemski.
Yeah, but you had a young player who was dynamic, who was averaging over a short period of time almost 25 a game. Like, what are we talking
Yep.
about? That's what I'm talking about, integration and player development. Like, the offseason, you got to figure out, again, Steve Kerr, how do you do it? How do you develop the second unit? How you going to do? You're going to end up doing some stuff with Paul George. You pay him more money for it. And has Paul playoff P ever materialized? I'm with you. I know why they're doing it. I think it's fool's gold. You ain't really making a hard decision. You making the same decision. I don't know, man. They're gonna do it though. You and I are going, and all it's gonna do is help. I think if they do that trade, it helps the Clippers
Yep. Well,
because
it's
now
gonna
they
help
give
me. It's
Ty
gonna
Lue,
help
and
the
Ty Lue gonna develop them.
it's gonna help the Clippers regardless because
Yep,
Paul George is gonna leave. He's a
yep,
free agent. He's gonna
yep,
leave. He's gonna take some money.
yep.
So um,
Oh, they
I don't
did it, man.
I don't know. They picked Edie.
We called it. we called it. I think we.
Shoot,
I think we. I
it's
think
about
that's
to go
happening.
down.
I
Yeah, it
think
happened.
that
It
happened.
happened.
We called it. Did we call it? We called. You called. We talked
Oh
about.
man, I
Oh.
said I told you. I said I think I know a little bit about this game called
Oh.
basketball. I think I know a little.
Oh my goodness. I think it's
Uh,
perfect. And we've been worried. And I'm like, I'm so glad because it tells me folks are thinking about basketball, getting away from a lot of this stuff. And it does two things. Even in the analytics stuff, they say you got to score at the rim, you got to shoot threes. He gonna take care. Excuse me. He gonna take care of you at the rim. He gonna take care of that there. But he just opens the game up for John Morant in so many different ways. And this guy demonstrated he can shoot a little bit. Wasn't asked to do it, but you and I know, man, he's a
yeah,
problem.
and he protects Jaren.
Yeah,
Jaren he
because
gets
he
in a lot
fouls
of
out all the
foul
time,
trouble.
man.
Yep,
Yes.
and yeah, and even if Jaren goes to the bench with foul trouble, you still got Brandon Clark. He's coming off an injury, but still athletic guy, high motor. Um, and he could do a lot of the same things.
Yep.
That could be your big that can be at the level. I'm thinking of it a little bit like a little bit of it like Houston almost, where
Hmm.
I'm talking about Houston Cougars, not Houston
Yep.
Rockets.
Yep.
With when one of the bigs could be at the level of the screen playing aggressive, and the other one could drop and be there at the rim.
Yep.
This could be the makings of the West has got a little bit tougher. The West got a little
I,
bit
I, I
tougher.
mean, I
They were gonna
mean,
be tougher anyways because John Morant. Everybody been forgetting about John Morant. I just
three
watched
teams didn't
a
like
couple.
three teams. You know what 3 teams didn't like this pick?
Who?
L.A., Golden
Oh yeah.
State, and
Yep.
Phoenix. Them
Uh
three
huh.
teams are gonna pay for this pick.
You know, Anthony Davis don't want to guard Zach either.
Don't want nothing to
He
do with
don't.
Zach.
He don't like banging down in the post. He
Don't
want to. He
want
want to be at. He want to roam and block shots. But
don't want no problems
yeah,
with it. Right.
he gonna tire him out.
Yep. The,
But yeah, so the West got a lot tougher. As I was saying, like I was watching the game a couple, I think last week, where John Morant had 41 in the playoffs against the Warriors,
yep.
and I was like, man, they people forgetting about John Morant. Like
Oh yeah.
he is one of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we talk about Anthony Ed, we talk about Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic. John Morant is one of those guys that's leading the next generation,
Yep.
and y'all about to be reminded next year.
Because all they done is make his job easier.
Yep.
And the last thing you need to do with a young place like that who got something to prove, who daddy looking like Usher, is give
And
him
they
something.
still got Marcus Smart.
Yes, it still got Marcus Smart, who also gonna benefit from this.
Yep.
Man, I'm telling you, right now, it's gonna be problems. It's gonna be some problems. We are hitting hot up in here, man. And so we got now Utah's an interesting step. We got the
Yep.
Bulls. The Bulls got to have to make some decisions about where they going. Right? They
Oh
just they
yeah.
just they just
Oh,
had
Utah
a trade.
picks in. Utah picked Cody Williams, Jalen Williams' little brother. I
Ooh.
would say because Utah, they're in a position they can pick best player available.
Yep.
You know, they're
And
just
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and he can play.
stockpiling. Yep.
He can
Yeah.
play.
He knows how to play. He's one of those guys. He knows how to play. He
Yep.
can get downhill.
Yep.
He's not the most explosive guy, but
Yep.
he can finish.
Yep.
He does play defense. He can shoot
Yep.
the ball.
Yep.
He has the makings of a rotational wing
Yep.
that could produce. And also they picked Taylor Hendricks last year,
Yep.
and growing up and how they develop in the league.
Yep.
I think that could be a really good 3-4 pairing
Yep. Yep.
going forward
But
because they
you
both
got
play
big bro.
defense. They can both shoot.
Look at them.
Yep.
They up there trying to
Man.
take it home. Brothers trying to take it home. Oh my
And
goodness.
if Cody
Yeah.
Williams could get, I think the key to Cody Williams is the weight room. If Cody
Yeah.
Williams um, can get in there and work with his brother
Yeah. Yeah.
and put on some strength,
Yeah.
because
He got to eat what his
I
brother
think he
eat.
could be really good. Yeah,
Yeah, he got
but
he got
his brother been eating them weights. That's what he's been eating,
eating
man.
them weights and some
He been
and some pig's feet, some hog maw. He been doing
man,
something. But his brother got that grown man strength.
yeah,
You know.
and he ain't no grown man yet. Like
Yeah.
shoot, Jalen Williams probably like 22, 20.
Yep, 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 yep. He got
Imagine what he's
that
gonna be like at 28.
28, and he already playing. He put them hands
Yeah,
on you. You ain't going nowhere. It's like
right.
this is something else. So this is and we still got a lot on the board, man. When we
Yeah.
think about who's available, um, man, and we got some of the better teams in the league with
Uh
some
huh.
opportunities. I
You
mean,
got
you
Chi Town up next.
yeah,
I think Chi Town they're gonna go with the hometown boy. I think they're gonna go Modest because Modest is still on the board. Modest Buzelis, he's still on the
yeah.
board.
Modest was see they gonna mess around and let Modest there. Now Chicago can't mess him up like they did. What's my guy who then went out to Utah?
Laurie
Chicago had
Markkinen.
him even out to Utah, start balling, made All
Yeah,
Star team.
Laurie Markkinen.
Yeah, see they can't be
Yep.
doing him like they did, you know. And I went down and I watched Mark. I'm like, oh, Mark, you can see him jumping off the. They don't know how to use
Hmm.
him. So, you know, they're gonna have to figure something out, man.
Yeah.
But he got the swag. If they're looking for a difference maker, everybody gonna be like, why did this kid wait so long? I don't understand it. That's one thing gonna make me mad about the Pistons. I'm like, man,
Because at the end of the day, um, there's not a whole lot of separation here. Like
yeah,
there's a lot of players that are around the same range, and the draft boards might have told us one thing, but
yeah,
as we've seen in the NFL draft as well,
yeah,
the mock draft boards are not always the same as the NBA and NFL teams boards.
Yeah,
They might view players a little differently than we do,
yeah,
and we find out what they're really thinking on draft night.
yeah, yeah. It's and you know what I think is telling you with the way they're drafting, because like you and I was talking about is like what are you committing to? What's your style? What how are you going to get to the ability to do some of the fundamental things you got to do to win? And there might be a couple ways to get at it, but how are you getting at it? And so that tells you a little bit about what they care about and do they have a philosophy? Because philosophy is what tells you you, you you can understand the Heat are making their pick based on a philosophy, right?
Yep.
They've decided, and I think there's some teams we're starting to see that with now. And this is the kind of draft that's because of like what you just said is going to demonstrate that. And so we might be thinking one way, but they're seeing how this picture is putting together. You know,
You.
one of the things that JJ said right away was people have to be able to be two-way players,
Uh-huh.
right? I can't have specialists. I got to be able to count on you on both ends, and we got to shoot threes, right? And we got to like he and people have
Yep.
to fit into that, right? Some teams you know aren't thinking that way. They're getting caught up in and so a player that I think the Lakers will take this year will probably fit into what he's talking about, right? And
Right.
you can see that with some of these players, with some of these teams.
So with
Bulls, I don't
Chicago,
know. I don't know how they,
yep.
and I don't think it's different with the coach, but I don't know how much alignment is. I think there's alignment between the coach and the front office, but I don't know. I'm trying to understand what they're trying to do, and they kind of been in the middle of the pack. So
Do you
I don't.
do you think we could see Nikola Topic here?
I was thinking that might be a good pick, given,
He,
yeah, you know,
he's going to be injured. He might not necessarily play this year,
yeah.
or he might miss some time. But he's a guy that was
I think you
valued
take the
in the
hometown
top
guy.
five range.
He's dynamic. He's got something. He's got attitude, and it's home. I
Hmm.
might in this case, and he got size.
Yep.
I might go with the hometown guy. If I'm there now, you know I don't know. Hammer doesn't trust him at all, and so it's probably good he's not here because he's probably losing his mind. But I think and you got to be long. Um,
Yep.
you know, I don't know what they're going to do with DeRozan, right? Um, but this kid can space. You just got rid of Caruso, right? Or Caruso's gone, so um, you know, I think you got to go with somebody who can give you something. And this kid is competitive, uh, and is not. It's going to come in as a rookie trying to make things happen. And they need to show something right now. That front office and that coach, they got to show some movement in Chicago. Because Detroit coming, Chicago, Detroit coming. We coming for you. Uh, and you know Milwaukee going to try and retool, right? Cleveland's looking good. Chicago got to show something.
Yeah.
You can't be
I
living
think
on
they
these
got a.
you can't be living on these Bulls highlight these
I
Jordan
think.
highlights.
I think the Bulls got a little road ahead of them. They got a
Yeah.
little ways ahead of them. I think they're going to trade either Levine or DeRozan, maybe both.
If you're gonna trade
And
Levine, which I think is probably the if you're gonna trade either one of them, you got to go get Matas because you got to say we are trying to do something. He's a more dynamic player. If you're gonna make one of them trades, you got to get your hometown boy. You got to get people something to be excited about. And that kid got funk in his game.
mhm,
Um, man, so these next two picks could have an impact on the West.
yeah,
The Thunder and Sacramento. Now Sacramento,
yep,
I feel like I feel like they need some size. Some bonus is okay, but they seem like they when they get up against these bigger teams, I don't know. I just feel like they need something with Sabonis. Maybe I'm wrong. Or what are you
maybe
thinking?
he
I
did
just
start his career. Yeah, Modest got picked
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
Bulls.
yeah. That's
But
probably a smart pick.
yep. And we were talking about what team did you just say?
I was talking about Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacramento. Yeah. Sabonis did start his career off as a power forward. He rebounds the ball very well. Um, he he's not very much of a shot blocker. Um, they could benefit from bringing in a guy that could help there, but will that guy be available in the second round? Um, I think they're in a position they could go best player available and then
Yeah, because
get that guy in the second round.
yeah. I mean,
And you got to think about who is that guy for you in this draft, right?
their
Because you
problem is
have
they don't stop anybody
yeah,
defensively.
like you can look at an Eve Misi,
Yeah,
but how much better is Eve Misi than a Dembona,
yeah,
and how much is that guy better than Kalkbrenner?
yeah.
And could and to be honest, those guys could be available in the 40s, 30s, and
Because I
40s.
mean, they can't take Dalton Connect because they already got that. They got those
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
So
they got Dalton. They got a Dalton Connect type.
yeah, they already got that.
They have. I'm about to look and see who we still have. Uh, but yeah, there's a few ways they could go. Few ways they could go. Look at this. I should have the big board up. Oh yeah, Dalton Connect. Yet you still got Topic on there. Um, Devin, they're probably not in the market for. I think Tristan De Silva could be a pick.
Yeah, I was looking at the Silva.
Um, Furphy would be interesting.
Yeah,
Furphy, he plays defense. He's athletic, hard nosed guy. He can shoot the ball. Um, I think I think that could be a real good move. Who's this guy? Who's this guy? They got on the screen crying. Uh, I think I might have missed something. Oh, that's Modest. They got to be Modest's brother. Okay, he's sitting over there, Modest. Okay,
going to Shy Town.
yep. Going back home.
You
Couldn't
get
draw it up
approved.
another way. I know he's not happy that he fell, but I bet he is happy that he fell now.
Oh yeah, yeah. You able to go to the crib?
Yep,
Going to the crib. He is.
yep.
He is.
Shoot, but OKC, who does OKC get right now? Man, OKC's at 12. They still have guys available to them. Um, what would they look like with Dalton Connect?
Yeah,
Man, Jared McCain. Like they got okay. They kind of have a Devin Carter-ish guy on their team already with
yeah,
Case and Wallace. So I'd imagine that's not where they're going. But they have options. If you're Oklahoma City, who would you pick?
yeah. I'm trying to see. Oklahoma City's on the clock. I'm trying to see. Um, Now, if I'm Oklahoma City, I might take a I might take a dog connect. Part of it is um, he can space and he could he shoot. I mean, he gives them a little bit more offense. Now I know you talk about size because they are kind of light down low, um, but you might be able to get that size in the second round to kind of back up, and then some things they might be able to do some other places, but I might. Um, again, he gives you. I think what's good about their teams, they need mature players, right? Um, and I think yeah, he got some size. He can shoot, and I think they're going to be getting rid of Giddy. I think he can give you some of what Giddy can give you, but he can score. Giddy couldn't space the floor, right? So uh, that might be a good thing. And then you try to get the size later on because there's some other options with size that you could go with later on in the draft. What might be a way I might go uh, with this. Philip Filipowski is another one from Duke. He gives
Yep.
you a little bit of size, right? Um, he knows how to play. Um, you know, he's versatile offensively, right? Um, I think he would fit into the way they play, and I think he gives it. You get, with your all star point guard, you get a screen roll with him. He gives you a whole bunch of options that are similar with what you got going
Yeah,
on
what you got
right
with
there
Chet, but
with
I
Chet.
think I
But
think
he
you
got a
want
little bit
to.
more size.
I think they want to zag. I think they want to. Well, with their backup, with because if Filipowski gets drafted by them, he's not going to start.
Which is
So I
okay.
think, yeah,
Because
yeah,
you got a
I
team
know
that's
it's
going to
okay,
the
but I'm
finals.
saying
Yeah,
if I'm OKC, I want my backup to be different. I want my
yeah,
backup to be a bigger, stronger, big guy that can really crash the glass, that can excel in that way.
yeah.
Well, you can still
I don't think
get
you necessarily have to
Filipowski
get
and
that
play
through
him
the
as a
draft
backup
too. They might
four.
be able to pick that up. I mean, because those guys exist. It might be a veteran. You know, you know.
Yeah,
Can you get? That might be a veteran you get,
but how
right?
many bigs are you going to carry on your roster though?
That's the question you got to have.
They picked Nikola Topic.
Yeah.
Oh man,
So that means he's supposed to be. He's going to be. He's going to be taking the Giddy spot.
yeah, drafted that. Yeah, yep,
Yeah, that's basically what they did. Replaced it with a guy who might be giving a little bit more other stuff
yeah,
with it. Yeah, that's what they did.
man.
Knows how to play.
Yeah, I think they looked out
Yeah,
because
again,
Nikola
one
Topic was supposed to go
MVP.
top four, top five,
Yeah,
and he got injured. When he comes back from injury, he's gonna be well rested.
yeah,
And they will try to work him in there.
and he's
And
all
like I
about his
said
business.
earlier, they need a like I said they needed a big that can rebound. But the second thing I said they need a ball handler,
Yeah,
another ball,
yeah,
another
yeah,
creator off the bench,
yeah,
and he fits that role.
yeah.
He's a bigger guard. I think he's about how tall do you think he is? About 6'5",
6'5", as they say,
6'5".
six
Oh,
five.
well, yeah, exactly 6'5", 6'5", 6'6", right around that
Yeah,
range. Um, he fits that role like just like I was saying. You got Kason
yeah,
Wallace off the
yeah,
bench,
yeah,
but he's not necessarily a true point. I
yeah,
think you want a actual point next to him, and I think
yeah,
Topic fits that role perfectly. He can facilitate. He can he he can get to the he can penetrate.
yeah,
He's a better athlete than he really gets credit for.
yeah,
Um, and he can get things going for that second unit. I like this pick a lot
yeah,
because, like you said, they can get that big in free
yeah,
agency,
yeah.
or possibly they can get another big in the second round.
How is he defensively? I didn't get a sense of that, but he probably knows how to play a game. He knows how to play position defense and do
Yeah,
all that stuff. And plus, you got Chet cleaning up everything.
yeah. But
Um,
I haven't seen a whole lot of him on defense.
no, I haven't. Yeah,
I've been seeing a whole bunch of
yeah,
highlights and not a whole
yeah,
bunch of real
yeah.
full games, so I couldn't
Now,
really
this
tell you a
might be a
whole lot.
place where Kyle might go
Yeah,
to Sacramento. Uh, this could be interesting.
yeah,
Sacramento's they gotta figure out how to stop people. So part of that
right.
is they gotta get the guys they got playing better defense, and they gotta find something that works for that.
So, do you
But
think Filipowski helps that
I don't know. Well, I feel
stopping
like
guys?
yeah, I feel like um, he's a kid. He looks like he know how to play. Sometimes I don't think he plays. There are times where I feel like he could be much more aggressive and take over. I think he hasn't tapped into all of his tools. Um, but I've seen him challenge people and do some different things. I think he can be that kind of physical player. Um, but at the same time, uh, you can um, he and Sabonis are interchangeable. Sabonis has fouled out a couple times, and with a guy like that, you might not lose anything. With Sabonis is in foul trouble, right? So that's another part of it is that he gives you that kind of depth because that's the kind of team they're not gonna bring anybody in who's gonna start for the most part out of this. This has got to be somebody that's kind of like Jaime, who played, who came in and got minutes in that 6, 7, 8 spot for the Heat. That's the kind of guy you got coming in, and I think he could fit that bill. But he might not be the right pick. You could might be just get a legitimate.
Wait a minute. I got some news. I
Uh
got an
oh,
update. Man, Rob Dillingham, we were talking about him. He got traded
already.
for guess who he got traded to?
Who?
The Minnesota Timberwolves. Oh my
Oh my goodness!
god.
Oh, this
You
feels
got
this
him next
feels
to
like
Ant Man. He gonna
the
be learning.
Bills. This feels like
He
the
gonna
Bills
be
trade with the Chiefs.
he gonna be learning. He gonna be learning. He gonna be learning from Mike Conley. He go. Oh my god! Like this is.
When they get back.
I told you the West is getting tougher. The
So
West
what did
got
the
a
trade?
whole lot tougher.
So
So they
what?
traded a 23rd. I mean, a 2031 unprotected first round pick and a 2030 pick swap. Top one protected for this before Rob Dillingham. So they traded a first rounder way down the line. I think the Spurs are banking that maybe 8 9 years from now, Minnesota falls off, something happens, they break up, and that pick is going to be really good. Hopefully,
Are they
I
trying to?
don't.
What's your voice? Are they trying to get what's his flags or whatever the kid for next year? Are they trying to get another number one? What they doing?
I don't know. Cooper Flagg's going to be good. You also going the next year's draft in general is going to be really good. But this is 2031 though.
I know, but I'm trying to figure out: are they just trying to be bad again? I mean, they had a chance to like.
I think that's a possibility.
Now that I don't know how well that's going to work with Wimby. I don't think he's the kind of person who can put up with being. I mean, this
Yeah,
year was tough on him, but he doesn't seem like the kind of kid who wants to go through that again. They need to figure that one out.
I got to make
Wow,
sure this. I got to make sure this is real.
they're saying
What?
it. I'm seeing it on it. They're putting it
Yep.
together.
Woj said it. Yeah, Woj said it.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Wow. Anthony
Devin
Edwards
Carter.
and Rob Dillingham. This is gonna be wow. That's exactly the guy I said they weren't gonna pick because they got Davion Mitchell. But
That's what I'm
hey,
thinking. But
but
I
hey,
think they're so concerned
de-
they need to have a defensive
if you
presence.
want defense, you got them. You got them.
They're gonna put them both together and say, "Go get
You
them."
you got
They,
them.
they said we got the Sikkim group. Mike Brown said, we're gonna play defense if it kills me."
If it kill, hey, you might man.
Mike
And
Brown said, "I can't stand it.
if
We got to
Malik
stop people."
if Malik Monk leaves, one of them's gonna start, and the other's gonna come off the bench. I think.
I'm telling you right now.
You got Kim English over there. Okay, I see you. Former
You,
Detroit Piston. Yep.
you know what I'm saying? They're like we gonna play some defense. I'm
Yeah.
gonna send a message that defense is priority. Now, he looking like it's hot out here, but I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if that outfit. He
Yep.
looking like where's he from?
You got some purple rain. Purple rain.
Boy, these cats are coming with no shirt on and nothing else. I'm like,
Yeah.
youngins, I guess when you got it, you got it. I'm not gonna I ain't
Hmm.
mad at you, but and with the shoes he got going on. I'm
Yep.
like, I know
Okay.
the, we got, come on, we got to at least put shirts on, y'all.
You
We got
doing
to at
that thing.
least put the shirt on at the draft. Is the shirt
Hey, he
required?
doing.
Darn, no, is the shirt required? The shirt
But look
got
at
to be
look at look at
required.
these highlights though. Look at
I
the
know. Look
he
at
getting
this.
up. He jumping passing lanes.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
got he got
you
the
know
vertical
Mike Brown was
explosiveness.
like, yeah, and
Yep.
aggressive. Get that. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep.
And he's an older rookie, right? He
Yep.
played he played a few years at Providence,
Yep.
so
Season.
he's battle tested. He's
Yep.
seasoned a little
Yep.
bit, and he comes from a great pedigree. His
Yep.
dad played in the NBA.
Yep.
He's technically sound. He got better every year.
Yep.
You bet on guys like that.
Yep. His dog meter's high. And
Yeah,
Mike Brown is like, we
42
are.
inch vert.
Yeah, yeah. We need a cat who gonna come in as a rookie challenging, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna come in as a rookie, setting this tone. Like we gonna get down. Man, the
And
Trailblazers are setting up.
Portland back up because remember they traded
Man, the West. You know who didn't like that pick? The one from Providence. Golden State, the Lakers, and the Suns. I mean, I mean, if Sacramento gets better defense, because you know they can score with you. If they can start getting
yeah.
timely stops, oh my goodness, it starts. And all this stuff is going to start in the preseason. You know, Mike Brown. My name is my name. My D is my D. Man, this is getting. Man, this is getting something else. This is, woo, the West is how the
Actually, never
West is
mind. The
won.
Blazers are not back up at 14. This is the Wizards.
This is supposed to be the Wizards' pick.
Yeah, Washington is drafting at 14,
Yep. Yep. I don't,
and the
I don't
pick
know
is
what the
already
see. The
here.
Wizards are an example
Yep.
of a team that I'm not sure what the philosophy is. I'm not sure what they do.
Well, they needed it. They decided they need another guard because Jordan Poole wasn't exactly what they expected. I think,
You
and
know, hot talk, man. We
they
can't even
picked
talk
up
about.
a
He
couple.
disappoints me. Jordan Poole. That's why they probably brought Malcolm because they need somebody to help settle things in. But that cat,
Yeah.
is he too far gone?
And they got a few picks. They got a few picks back.
Yep.
You know, hey, I don't know, man. They could also be in that we want to be bad another year, so we could get Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper, you know, um, Boogie Fland. There's some guys coming next year.
Yep. Now this is where I
You
think I
know
could
that.
see someone like Dalton going.
Yeah,
Another a guy again,
to the
mature
Wizards.
score set. I think one of the things Chauncey is finding with Klingham, these guys are business. These he brings somebody in because he understands the Piston way, who
Yep.
bring their lunch pail to work. They know they
This is
understand. They
this is
understand the
Washington
assignment,
right now. Yep.
huh?
That
Who's
says
that?
Washington at 14 picking
Like,
though.
oh man, Washington at 14.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right. We did say it was Washington. I don't know what they're gonna do. Whoever they do, I'm gonna pray for them because my boy is still in purgatory over there from Wisconsin. He in the witness protection program. What's going on? Went to DC, got lost. We need to send out special forces. Johnny Davis ain't been seen since. I knew he was in trouble when I saw they did him in summer league. They had him playing some crazy position. Went look how they were developing him. I don't trust it. If I get drafted, Carrington, you need to boycott.
Bub Carrington. They got another guard.
They got another guard. How many more guards do y'all need?
They got like four guards. Shoot. Do they still have Tyus Jones? Is he still on the
Yeah.
team?
Like what y'all do? What we doing?
These people used to always say there's only one basketball.
That's only one.
Yeah.
Like what we doing? Like I don't know, man.
He is a bigger guard. He's like 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", but still.
I think they're trying to be able to sit you boy. They're trying to find a way that if he act a fool, they can sit him down. We're just gonna let the money go.
I think he might get moved.
Who gonna take him?
Oh man.
And then maybe the Bucks and bring him back to the crib with
Yeah.
Doc, because Doc can put his arm around him. That might be one because they need some more athleticism and youth and scoring over there in Milwaukee. Maybe that and bring him home. You need to have a coach
Yep.
like Doc or somebody who can put a foot and maybe get him back in the milk. That might be the only way to do it. Where you gonna move him? You gotta send him to
Man.
a gangster and reprogram him.
You think Philly could take him?
Philly
He
don't
he
need no
come
more
he come
distraction.
off the bench. He could come off the bench for Maxi, and now you got that same type of there ain't gonna be too much of a drop off. You can still gonna get that firepower. The same type of
It's all gonna come down
guard
to what kind
play.
of locker room you got. Can they hold it
Yeah.
down in that locker room? You need some people in the locker room gonna hold him down. Draymond had to punch him down, so I don't know what we're gonna do. You know, you, you need somebody to hold down the locker. I don't even know what that locker room was like in DC. Man, when he was just able to go, he based elder statements and could say whatever he wanted to say because he basically played the final and got a chip. The Heat are on the clock. They might know where they gonna
Either on
go.
the clock.
They might get a
Jared,
dog.
I said it
Jared
earlier.
McCain,
Jared McCain
I think
is
it's
a
McCain.
he is a Pat Riley guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Shoot, Isaiah Collier would be interesting here.
yeah.
Isaiah
It's just so
Collier,
hard to figure out what they're doing at USC because it just looked like it was a mess over
and
there.
he got hurt for a while.
He got hurt for a while. Nobody was healthy. It's
Yeah.
hard to judge. That's part of it. Kyrie only played what 3 or 4, 6 games in
No,
college.
he played 11 games in
11 games.
college,
Yep.
and one of them games he played against Michigan State and gave us the business. I still remember that game, and for years I didn't like Kyrie. For years, I didn't-
Ah,
oh man.
oh, oh. Yeah, man. I don't even know how to go
Uh,
with this one. Yeah, this is man. This is we are sitting pretty interesting here. I'm like, I don't even know where to go with it. We are. Let's see, we got. I'm trying to. The draft board is cooking.
Carl said Edie will be a bust with a capital B.
Oh my goodness, Carl already clown. Man,
Oh man! All right. One thing about it, we will see. We
so
will see.
the Heat got Caleb Martin as a free agent,
Hmm.
Kevin Love, Thomas Bryant, who I like his sneaky, I like uh, Patty Mills, Josh Richardson. Um,
Yeah, a lot of guys that sound like they're replaceable.
all replaceable.
But I just saw some. Ron Holland said that he didn't even work out for the Pistons. He ain't talked to the Pistons. He ain't work out for the Pistons. He was just as shocked as we are, but he's excited to get to Detroit.
Yep.
And he
Come
said he's
on,
blessed with this opportunity. All
come
right.
on, man. We ain't playing around. We ain't got time for this. Coming ready to go. We're gonna have to have a conversation with him. Where's Bill Lambier? We need to have an orientation. Let's get all the old vets. Meet him at the airport. There's an
Yep.
orientation you got to go through. When you come to the city, you got to get all that straight.
I'll say Rip Hamilton's already here.
Yeah, Rip already there. Rip, meet him at the airport. We got to
We
give him
need
the
to get
orientation.
Tayshaun.
Tayshawn. Yeah, we got to get Tayshaun down there with Memphis. We got to get Tayshaun out of
Yeah,
that front office and get him up
but
here.
he's from
Yeah,
Tennessee though,
yeah.
so he
I
probably
understand
sees
that.
staying close to home and doing
Yeah,
his
I
thing.
understand that, man. But we need you to come back to your second home. We need to get all this. We got to circle the wagons.
And then we see Tayshaun and Maui.
Yep, yep, yep. He's doing
He was
scouting,
up there,
scouting,
yeah, doing his thing.
scouting.
Yeah, he saw what Edie was doing in, in Maui.
Oh
He had
yeah,
to report back.
yeah. He
Hey,
had to report back. It wasn't
we
much.
can use this guy.
You and I could sit that report. All these
Yep,
people talking all that junk. I'm like, this kid, don't get fooled. You don't get caught up.
yep,
There's a lot of guys running analytics with teams that ain't winning. At some point, you got to bring in that other stuff, that qualitative assessment. And Edie, you got to look at all that. And he gonna help you at all those two areas that people like to do. He gonna help you in that paint. And defensively, like the people said, there's a whole bunch of people, like like my girl Carter said, there's a whole bunch of people getting cooked in the pick and roll, including the defensive player of the year. Like that can't be your reason for not getting Edie. There's a whole
yeah.
bunch of people who get cooked in that. In that. But what else does he give you? And he can do that. He can figure out. He's smart enough to figure out what to do on that stuff. So Yeah, the rationale that folks are using, don't get caught up in it. I'm a believer. That's all up
Summer
close and
league's
personal.
coming up quick.
I know. We gotta get I gotta get my act together. Let me get through some of this other stuff. Then we gotta find our way to summer league. God willing, we gotta show up in
Yeah,
Vegas at some point. Now I'm supposed to
man.
go to Vegas for volleyball tournaments. I wonder if I might be around. Where it might be a summer league game. I'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah, so it's tough. I gotta see what my schedule is with
Yeah,
football.
yeah,
That's the only thing, because like it's crunch time. I'm getting ready for the season.
yeah.
But summer league is always something that I wanted to, wanted to go out and see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they talk about they need a wing depth and a facilitator.
hmm And facilitator might be that Isaiah Collier piece we're talking about.
Yeah,
Wing depth. You can see Tristan De Silva. You can see
yeah,
a couple guys there. But the pick is in. We'll find out very soon.
yeah. We got to see what's going on here. Oh, Indiana.
Khalil Ware,
Yeah,
okay, real talented guy.
yeah,
The knock on him was his motor. People saying that he doesn't have a great motor, and one thing about the Heat, if you get him in the Heat culture, he's either gonna sink or swim.
yeah.
The pressure is either gonna make diamonds or it's gonna burst pipes, and we gonna see.
He must
We're
have
gonna
done some
see
workouts for them
if
to
he.
give them a sense that he would be
The
a.
thing is, if
They
he,
ain't picking nobody that didn't work out. I bet you.
yeah. But you could tell he'll work out well. Like
Yeah,
he's skilled.
and his coach is a former NBA tough coach,
Yeah.
right? So that yeah,
Wow.
wow,
Khalil Ware. I was not thinking about Khalil Ware here.
wow. This board is opening up,
I
man.
was thinking of, yeah, I would probably
They're
think
gonna
Khalil
mess
Ware would
around
go
and let
next to
Connect. They're gonna mess around and
Philly.
let Connect get to the Lakers. And that's the person they need. They need
Quiet as
somebody to
kept.
space the floor.
Connect might go to Philly right before that. Right before the Lakers.
I mean, he would be perfect in Philly. I
Man,
mean, they go,
coming off Embiid, he gets double, you kick it out, you gonna knock it down.
yeah. I'm like, man, they're about to create some problems.
Man,
Yeah, because you got Philly and the
Khalil
Lakers
Ware's
coming.
highlights are ridiculous though. Look at that Khalil Ware, man. This dude, he's talented for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just, you know, can they bring it out of him?
yeah.
Because he's one of those guys. He could go really good, or he could be Marquise Chris. Yeah,
But
you
the
know,
thing about it, the Heat, they're gonna be on him. They're not gonna let him do it. Like
yeah,
they have probably already got a plan for him.
yeah.
Pat Riley has probably already talked to him.
Udonis Haslam gonna be talking to him all year.
Haslam gonna be on him.
He gonna be talking.
He might be staying in Haslam's house.
Yep,
That's how they do it. No, you ain't getting an apartment. You're gonna stay with me this summer. Then we'll figure out where you're gonna live. I'm Mr. Miami. We'll get that taken care of. I got a room for
Mister
you right here,
305.
Mr. 305. Right, I got a room for you. Man, these next couple of picks
Shoot,
might send
man.
somebody over the top. I mean, the Lakers over there dancing because they got
Oh
a
yeah,
whole bunch of people to pick from. Think about that,
oh yeah. The Lakers are
man.
sitting pretty. Philadelphia. Because the thing about Philadelphia, their roster is wide open.
Yeah,
Like I think they got 3 players signed to a contract right now.
if they need a floor spacer, then that's Connect.
I think it's literally just Embiid,
Yep,
Maxi, and Paul Reed, and everybody else is a
yep,
free agent. So they could literally do whatever they want. Just trying to
yep.
figure out what and how they want to build out the rest of this roster. I would say they need a wing. They need they need wing depth. Um, shooting shooting's big, but they need a wing defender.
Yeah, and that's probably the Connect is improving defensively, but he's not a wing defender.
Yeah, he's not a wing defender, but
But he came from a
yeah,
program that emphasized defense.
yep.
So, um,
I
yeah,
know he's not on the board But what do you think about Terrence Shannon?
It, there if there were probably no issues, probably higher, right?
I'm saying for Philly. What do you think about
For
Terrence
Philly,
Shannon?
that would
Yeah,
be,
for
but
Philly.
you got to be able to you got to be able to whoever they get got to be ready to go. Can't have no
Yeah,
issues. And Philly's at a point right now that you got to be locked in. We ain't got time to take care of you,
yeah, that's
right?
true.
Right. And so this is the guy right here. If they go Dr. Jeanette, he
We
ready to go
connect.
right now.
Yeah.
He's gonna play. He gonna
Oh
come
yeah.
off seat. And right now he's motivated because I think he thought he'd go higher. He got a
Yep.
really big chip on it. You and I saw it. We saw him against great competition. He got a competitive mode. He gonna go at you. We seen him get 30 on really good teams. And so and you remember we saw Tennessee's warm up look like a football practice. Like
Oh
that's the
yeah, we
coaching,
saw that.
right? You know what I'm saying? And he fit Philly. He fit Philly in that way. He got a
Uh huh.
little toughness to him, but he will come. He gonna come off the plane ready to shoot. And with a coach like Nurse gonna know how to build a defensive philosophy that's gonna work. Plus, he
Right.
got a person behind him who could do it. But and you don't know what you're gonna do uh, uh, with Harris. Uh, who they got?
Tobias Harris.
Tobias Harris. So you're right. They
I
only
think
got three.
Tobias
They
Harris
only
is
got three
gone.
under contract.
I think Tobias Harris is gone.
They only got three under contract. Council's under contract. Reed and Embiid. They gonna sign Max. You know that.
I was, yeah, Maxi. Yeah.
Man, they got Tobias. Man, they got a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, Melton is going to be a free agent. Um, Kelly Oubre is
Batum.
a free agent.
I think they need to keep Batum,
Yeah. Oh, they really need to keep Batum. Yep.
and I think Covington. Like there's some couple people in there that I could see. Yeah. So this is and then what you gonna do with Buddy? You know.
Yeah, Buddy Hill. But the thing about well, they traded for him, so they're going to want
Yeah.
to keep him. But
Yeah.
um, picking up a Dalton Connect makes Buddy Hill expendable.
Yeah. Makes them expendable. Yeah. This is
Let's see.
and McCain is another possibility.
Yeah, that is a little bit of an undersized backcourt with him and Maxi though. But
Like so,
yeah,
George
he
from
plays.
Miami. George from Miami. Talk. What do you know about him?
So he's a scorer.
Yeah.
He can score. But thing is, he can shoot. He has nice feel, nice pacing. But his downside is he's not, to put it nicely, he's just not a good athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He's not very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think um he has some qualities, that could make him a decent rotational piece, but he also has some other issues that could,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I think he. I'm not very high on him. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, I'm not very
Yeah.
high on him,
Yeah.
but I want to say it in a respectable way.
No, but we real sports guys. If
Yeah,
he
yeah,
can't
he was.
handle it, we can't do it. If he ain't no, if he's missing out on it,
I would.
he,
I would
he,
say, yeah. I think he's a guy. He's going to be your 11th, 12th man on the bench. Possibly,
yeah,
most likely, he's going to be in the G League.
yeah.
I don't see him as a guy who's going to be in the NBA next year.
Mm. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they do this. Yeah, there's a lot of This is really thinking about how they want to build out their roster. Yeah, they got to go connect.
Yeah,
They
Connect
need
is
a
a nice one.
mature scorer, somebody who can
Yep.
give you something right now.
He's ready to play.
Yeah, ready to
He's
play.
experienced. Jacoby Walter is interesting too. He can do a lot of the same stuff. Um, Comes from the Baylor. Oh, because the pick is in. Jared
Like we
McCain.
said it.
Okay,
We had those two
Jared
guys up.
McCain.
He's
So
more.
they picked
Yep. That's
um
gonna be a great
yeah,
backcourt.
yep. And he like I said, he plays he he's like 6'2", 6'3", but he's strong. Like
Yeah.
he's a young guy, but he's developed himself in that way where he can play above his height. So I think even at the two guard position, he gives you some stuff, especially like I said, he's better fit in the off ball role. He can really
Yeah.
shoot the ball, and that's going to be very valuable next to Maxi and Embiid. So I think this is a good pick.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I probably would have went with Dalton Connect, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely not mad at this. I'm not mad at it at all.
And I think part of the problem they have is in that position, given that they're going up against Boston, you got to have someone with a lot more athleticism who could defend and score, right?
Do you think Jared McCain is that much more athletic than Dalton Connect?
I don't think
I
so,
don't
but
I don't think so.
I think there's some assumptions around that
I would
that
go.
people haven't really paid attention.
I think it's black wrestling. That I think that is profiling
Yeah,
because I would
because
say that
Dalton will
Dalton
dunk
Connect
on you.
is a better athlete than Jared McCain.
Yeah, but but and you and I know that because we sit and watch them up
Yeah,
close and have paid attention to it.
yeah,
And these NBA scouts should be paying attention to it, but you know,
yeah. Dalton Connect can jump out the gym.
out the gym. And so, man, I'm telling you right now, he about to go to LA.
I think
They don't
that I
mess
think
up.
I think they're
Uh,
gonna
uh,
run that. I think that pick is gonna be. I think they're gonna sprint that pick up to the podium, man. JJ Redick the coach. You already
yeah.
know what's going down. You
Oh,
already
and
know.
he wants to shoot threes, and he's
JJ
tough.
Redick is gonna
He
JJ
gonna
Redick
run that
gonna
up
be
himself.
he gonna be running them off of single doubles, pin downs, all kinds of screens. He already talked about Anthony Davis at the hub. I can already see it. Anthony Davis gonna be at the high post. You're gonna be running screens for Daughter Connect to get open. Man, it's okay. I think the Lakers are in a good spot.
Yeah, I'm running that thing up. Yeah, we'll see. We're gonna learn a lot right now.
Uh huh.
But yeah, this is a kid ready to play right now. And I
Yeah.
think the Lakers, and that's what I was saying, that the Lakers have to start drafting like the Heat. They gotta look for guys given theirs who can play right now. And you're getting a guy by all accounts should have been drafted maybe 6 or 7 spots higher. That's a win. That's a
Yep.
win. That's a win. They said ball handling, perimeter shooting, 3-point shooters is what they lack.
I will
You
say
might
that's
as well just run that thing
a
on up.
no brainer. The
You might
pick
as
should
well.
be in already. I think I know the NFL they like to tell the teams, hey, just wait a little bit, let the TV crew talk for a little while before you send the pick in. But hey, uh, the pick will be in as soon as they got it. All right, the pick is already in. Okay, the pick is in.
I'm running that thing up there before people forget he's still out there.
Yep,
Yeah. LeBron probably called for that one. LeBron probably text. Let's go get him. Let's go get him. I need somebody who can space the flow. Yeah, who got that funk in his game and will dunk on you. We'll see. We're gonna learn a lot on this pick.
yep.
If they come with some Isaiah Collier, I'm gonna be like, oh hell no. In this situation. I ain't gonna say he's a bad player, right? But I'm like, y'all ain't trying. This is where you try to sneak and get better through the draft. This would be some Miami Heat stuff with like Jaime Jaquez. A guy that you and we had a chance to see play, and we knew. Look, they shaking hands. You know,
JJ Redick couldn't. Yeah, he couldn't. He couldn't send that pick in fast enough.
they happy too. That is we got a dog connect. We got a still. We don't know what the rest of these folks doing because I'm looking.
Yep.
I've watched enough of these players play, and I've been blown. He when he's on the court with other great players, he looks like the dude. So we'll see. Man, yeah, I'm like, I would, and he ready for the moment, and he's a
Yep.
big shot guy, and afraid of the moment. And you need those guys beyond your two stars. You got to have folks who aren't scared of the moment. That guy ain't scared of the moment. Man, I can't believe this. They let him go this deep. I can
Yep.
see about three or four other teams who could have benefited from having him on the squad. And this is one of those examples. I said this was going to be a GM draft. This is when people outthinking the room. Like you said, this kid is a great athlete. Now we say this like we know it's going
Yeah.
to be the pick. But if it comes for something else, I'm going to be like,
I think I
I'm
think
going to
I
learn
think
something.
I think we made a safe assumption. Yep, it's in the Lakers selection. Okay. Dalton Connect. All right, there we go.
I mean, it wasn't no brainer. I know what the rest of these folks looking at. I'm like, if the Pistons had another pick, we try to get him. I'm like, to me, this
Yep.
is a game winner. This is a gamer. Sometimes, we talked about the difference between basketball players and hoopers. This is a hooper, and
Yeah.
they need hoopers
Every sense of the
in LA.
word. Yep.
They need hoopers, and he be going at brothers. Look at it, and look how he geared up. Like
Oh yeah,
look how he geared up like a hooper.
he
Like
fly right now. Yep.
yeah,
He got
and he like he gonna walk in taking nothing. He gonna go right at folks. He going right at folks.
he got a little Devin Booker in his
Yeah.
game. Yep.
He like, yeah, I'm not just here. I'm not a complimentary piece. I'm with this. I want to sit at the table. Man, they try to compare him to Tobias Harris, but I think he got a little bit more dog than Tobias.
I don't think he played nothing like Tobias
Yeah,
Harris.
that's they try to
I
as
don't
a
know.
comparison. I'm like, I don't think so. AP
I
first
don't
team All
know.
American. Come on, y'all. Y'all out thinking the room. Look at him. Look how he
They
geared
saying
up.
he's Tobias Harris because he went to Tennessee.
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
that
nah,
is.
I ain't that. I'm telling you, man. What we talking about? LeBron over there, happy it all could be. Look at this. Look at this. Come on, what are we
Yeah.
doing? What are we? I wish Detroit had
I
another
said
pick.
Rob Dillingham the best scorer in the draft. He's number Connect is number two.
I
He
mean,
right there.
he right there. I mean, I don't know what these folks is. What y'all watching? Y'all spending too much time. Y'all spending too much time. Sometimes y'all gotta get out of Europe. There's a couple people in the backyard. Now, don't get caught. Yeah, y'all work on that flicker fireballs. You could drive to this one. A couple of y'all could have drove to this one. If you want to put on, you could come over to Maui and hung out with us. To Oahu actually, and do it. Like this is my. When you talking about sneaky picks for, if he wasn't playing on LeBron, those guys' team, I'm like, this is the kind of guy who could have a rookie of the year kind of year if he had it. He just not. He
Yeah.
probably gonna get enough shots playing on that team because they holding the ball too damn. Depending on what JJ does to get ball movement, get stuff going.
It also
But
depends on what the other guys are doing. Because
yeah, what the other
if
guys
we're
do.
being honest, like a lot of the other picks are not going like they got drafted earlier, but they're not like first option guys anyway.
No,
Like Stephon Castle not gonna be no first option.
no,
Um, Zachary Reese say not gonna be no first option.
no,
You're number one pick in the draft. You're not gonna be no first option playing next
no,
to Trey Young and them.
no. And one of the things I think is really interesting. This is what I talked about. How do you build that second unit? If you build that second unit around AD and a couple other folks, this where you have a young cat like Dalton and some other people coming where he can really start to get his game on. And it's going to be interesting to see how that flows. I forgot Toronto was playing basketball, man, and we got the Magic coming up.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
Orlando.
Toronto was a crown jewel a couple years ago. Now I don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, Orlando ran the pick up there. Now,
And I
they
know
got somebody on their
Orlando.
mind. They got somebody on their mind.
they
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 need some
already like
shooting.
we.
I can see your boy Filipowski going here.
I think so. That adds a little bit more size to go with that. Plus, he can score. To
Yep.
go. Um, so yeah, I can see. Uh,
I could
You
also
know,
see Jacoby Walter
yep, yep.
from Baylor.
Rim running. You yeah. This is he ready for L.A. Look, he got the look. He ready for L.A. He like, yeah, they don't know nothing about me. You know, dog. Like, I'm ready. You think I'm in Tennessee? I don't know. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all better go back and watch some of this NCAA tournament stuff. Uh, yeah, yeah. They're an interesting group in terms of pick up their selection.
Yeah, they have pieces. I think
They got
they need
pieces.
some more shooting,
Yep.
and that's really the big thing. They got
Yep. The
Tristan
silver. I was
DeSilva
about to
from
ask about the silver.
Colorado.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know if you would necessarily call this falling. I mean, this is
Yep.
probably where he should go. You got a
Yep.
wing. He can shoot the ball. He knows how to play. You know,
Yep.
another nice field guy.
Yep.
I think I think he fits in nicely with Franz Wagner and them.
Yep. They just building depth and being stronger, and and
Yep.
being able to defend them Celtics.
Yeah.
Right.
Building
That's
it
what
the
they're
right
looking
way.
at. Yeah. That's what they're looking at. We got Jalen Brown and them guys to deal with. Right. Then you see what is happening in New York and those wings and forwards, and you know where the Heat going. So they fortify. See, when you're a team like Orlando, you're trying to fortify. You got some stuff, but you got to fortify and try to see who they got.
Who, Orlando?
Yes, and they
Orlando
still got
got wings everywhere. They got Jonathan Isaac, one of the best
yeah,
defenders in basketball. They got
and
Franz
free agents.
Wagner.
They off the Fultz deal,
Yep.
and then
Of course, they got Paolo. Of course, they got
yep,
Paolo
and then
Banchero,
you
the
know,
future.
yeah, and then the other Wagner is
Mo
Joe Ingles.
Wagner
So
is
they got some people coming
backup.
off their contract, coming off their books. So they're starting to
Hmm.
tighten it up right now.
They still got Wendell Carter.
Yeah, Jet Howard down there. I forgot he was down there, and
Yep.
Caleb Houston. You got two
Caleb Houston from
Michigan guys
Michigan.
down here that they
They
got the
got
whole Michigan. They got like Michigan. This Michigan South.
Yep. They got Jalen Suggs.
The
So you know they're building that defensive mentality. They
thing
have a
they
lot of.
don't have is they ain't got who the Wiley vet. Like Wagner, older
It
Wagner
was
was kind
um
of,
it was
Mo
Joe
was kind of,
Ingles.
yeah, Joe Ingles. Mo Wagner was kind of becoming that, right? Um,
Mm,
yeah, Gary
yes.
Harris. So some of these guys who are
Yep.
out, but on their current roster, they got Jonathan Isaac. Yeah, they don't have any. I always think you need a little seasoning to keep that stuff right,
Yep.
and that's the one piece they missing in my mind. Uh, that vet in the locker room, but they doing it. Ooh man! In Toronto, I forgot Toronto was playing. Toronto was, like I said, they were the crown jewel.
Yeah, they can go wherever. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean they got some players now.
their best player available right now. I don't think they
Yeah, they are.
got a direction. They do need some shooting though. I
It,
will
it,
say that
yeah,
they need
they
some
do.
size. They need like a big too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is interesting. And they bringing some cats back to Olenek and all these guys back to Canada.
Yeah,
RJ, you know, some of these guys home. Um, but Gary Trent, I wonder where Gary Trent going to end up going.
I have no idea.
Quickly is a free agent.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, Bruce Brown is a free agent.
Ooh,
He might end up going back to Denver. Um, he made his money, but he might not have the same money out there. Malik
yeah,
Williams. I mean, they got some. Their free agents are interesting because these are some guys that might
right.
end up on some playoff teams.
Emmanuel quickly is interesting.
Yeah,
Like who could use? I mean, what team could he go to?
Hmm.
I think he'll look good on New Orleans. There's quite a few teams.
Yeah, we got a lot of. So then, where does Kolek go? You know where I think Kolek could go and help out and unlock them is Phoenix.
Yeah, they can use him for sure. Yeah, they could. Yeah,
I would say,
yeah.
I would say Phoenix. Now it's interesting. Milwaukee there is home, the home, uh, right there. But yeah, I can see him. I can see him going to even the Pelicans. But I could definitely see him going to Phoenix.
You think he'd go to the Pelicans? And I
Man,
think,
you see a screen roll with him and Zion.
yeah.
Ooh, my goodness!
You think he's a start?
And he's kicking,
You
and he's
think
kicking.
you think he's a starter in the league?
I think he's a starter. I think he got that. He's a mature guy with the right pieces. Like I can see him starting in Phoenix with the
Yeah,
right pieces. You
because
know,
I'm saying that because most people think of him as a backup point guard, and
yeah.
especially and with New Orleans, you know they have that role filled. Like Jose Alvarado, you know,
But
I think he's
he's
perfect
not
for
as an
them.
offensive threat is
He's
this.
not, but
Could
I
you bring
think
him off the bench? Just
I
second
think
unit.
I think New Orleans is going to make a move for an
Yeah,
established guard.
yeah.
I think that's their plan this offseason. I think they're going to try to get off of Brandon Ingram and get an established guard. And in that, I think they're going